Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and I'm Karl Gerber. Warning, what you're about to hear is a little different than your average lawyer show on this station. I've got a guest here from the gig economy, and I still got my associate attorney, Ann Gulliser, in studio, and I want to turn to my guest. Miss, could you tell us your name?
Oh, no.
Excuse me?
No.
I think the listeners would like to know your name, at least a reference point to who it is I'm talking to.
No.
Ser anonym bese?
Cynophilist is my first name.
Can we have your last name?
No.
I don't know Armenian, but I know a little bit of Spanish, if that helps. ¿Cuál es tu apellido?
No.
Oh, this is hopeless. The station's got me on at this new time where everyone is listening, and I can't even get my guest to tell us her name.
Oh. Well, my name is Cynophilist Galore. My mother was a galore, and she's a vegetarian. Well, I mean a veterinarian. Well, a vegetarian, too. And my dad, well, he's pretty rustic.
Thank you for giving in and finally letting us have your full name.
Well, why didn't you just ask in the first place?
Oh, I'll try to be a lot clearer next time.
Well, please do that, because I heard a lot of words, but they kind of weren't making any sense, you know?
Well, it seemed like you understood the words in Armenian.
I did?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Oh, God, this is crazy. Ugh.
Yes. Yes.
Let me try it this way. I was informed by some fairly unreliable sources, that you were a member of the gig economy.
Well, sir, I'm not a musician. I mean, why is everyone saying I have a gig?
Well, I agree you're not a jazz musician. Actually, how am I supposed to know? I guess she isn't responding. Let's try that sound again.
Well, my dad, who is rather rustic, he still is, he said the word origin of gig came from the 1920s from jazz musicians.
Did Thritz the cat have a gig?
Guess.
Oh, this is good. She responds to meows, too.
Huh?
The term gig economy was coined in 2009 during the Great Recession when unemployed people took short-term jobs they referred to as gigs.
Whoa, that is so literally mind-blowing. I mean, I didn't even know the show was so heavy.
It isn't, Angel Tears.
Oh, wow, my dad used to say that all the time, and he still does.
Interesting. Maybe more interesting than whatever it is you do in your car, driving around, gigging for spare change.
Oh, that's so funny, Daddy. I would not wear out my own car, even if I had one, driving around with my feet to my gigs. No.
Then how do you get to your gigs?
Lots of different ways.
Do you care to elaborate?
No. Lyft, Uber, sometimes I run, sometimes I walk.
I think our strange guest responds to animal noises. I didn't realize one person in the gig economy used, and I mean used, another person in the gig economy to get to the first person's gig.
What?
Say, do you ever take a bird for 25 cents a minute after you pay the buck to unlock?
Well, no. Sometimes my costumes get in the way. It's the tail.
Oh, costume?
Yes, of course. I mean, I've got to fit in. You wear stuff like suits to court, right?
Yeah, I wear suits to court, but not suits. Just stuff like suits, like, wool, but mostly over my eyes. Lots of, beguiled plastic usually.
That's what I thought.
On the earlier 74 episodes of this show, we heard a lot about Remus Helms's cosplay ostrich ranch in Sun Valley, California. You aren't going to tell us you did some gigs there, are you?
Can you please get me a gig there? I swear I am really, really good.
Please don't tell me you're a cosplay actor. We've dealt with so many on this show, and then on episode 73, tricked out Billy's Ranch, 27 or 52 miles from nowhere. And she said once her slick Willie went down in a naked hang gliding plus accident. Well, he got infected on his way down, not a people-transmitted virus. It happened on a cactus. Well, tricked out Billy opened up the doors of her ranch to nudists. And naturally, natural, the swingers followed. I don't even know how well the nudists mixed with the cosplay clowns, let alone the swingers.
I heard that episode on the Karl Gerber with a K channel on YouTube. I felt really bad for tricked out Billy losing the love of her life. And I crawled over to the corner of the room and put my head down. I was on a job where I was supposed to be all happy and panting and sticking my tongue out.
Oh, this sounds quite lewd.
Oh, Mr. Gerber, are you a cat or a dog person?
Well, I like both. TBH, I really like cats.
Oh, yeah, I've played that role. I'll be doing it tonight. But dogs are my fave animals.
They're great.
Do you have a dog?
No.
Can I ask why?
No. Actually, my wife doesn't like dogs. My youngest son would like a dog, but, well, he's like me. He goes crazy, so are pussycats.
I might just have the solution for you.
Maybe show my wife how great a dog can be?
That probably won't work. It might, though. I've got something better.
Better than what?
Better than recycled paper clips and beans, if you can believe that. Here's how it works. A dog that isn't a dog.
I'm not into all that robot stuff. We've sort of been there in this show with the Cindy D model where men got stuck.
Huh?
Huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna break that pattern.
Thank God.
Okay, what about a dog that is really a person?
I find that to be a sexist remark.
What?
What?
No.
Yes.
Huh?
Moving right along. I thought you were here to talk about your job in the gig economy.
I am.
Well, if you aren't, can you at least tell us why riding a rented scooter would interfere with your costume?
Like I thought I said, Mr. Gerber, I have to fit in. It doesn't work if I look like an outsider.
Where is this?
When I go into clients' homes.
Oh, like you wear a uniform.
Costume.
What exactly is it that you do in clients' homes?
I'm an animal impersonator.
Why would anybody hire an animal impersonator?
Okay. Say, for instance, you have a job. And you do have a job, don't you?
Oh, no, not me.
Okay, let's pretend you did. You have to go to work. There is some mean boss lady. No. She's a man. She makes you work. And get this, from 9 to 5:30, if you want a half an hour lunch break.
Well, but what if I want an hour lunch break?
No, your employer only has to give you 30 minutes.
Oh, but pretend I want a whole hour. It doesn't that make the day longer at work?
No, because you aren't working during the hour.
Yeah, but I am having to work all the way to 6 o'clock.
Yeah, but if you start at 9 and take an hour break, doesn't that mean you leave at 4 in the afternoon? I mean, if you're doing your 8.
Oh, no, I think it would be a full 8-hour workday if I started at 9 in the morning and left at 2 p.m. and took a 1-hour meal break.
Something doesn't sound right.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I've got this down right. Some days, all I do is figure out how many hours a class of employees worked on each of their shifts over a 4-year period. But we can say I want a 20-minute meal break if that makes you feel better.
Can we settle on 40 minutes?
Okay, I start at 9 in the morning, take a 40-minute meal break, and work 8 hours absent the 40-minute meal break. That means I'll leave around midnight.
I think you'd leave at 8:42 p.m., but that's not the point. The point is somebody has to come over to your house and be a friend to your pet.
But I don't have a dog.
You're pretending that you do, remember?
But my wife doesn't like dogs.
Then pretend you have a person living in your house that dresses and acts like a dog.
Now that sounds more realistic, at least about my living circumstances. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and if you haven't heard this show before, we enact real-life workplace legal issues with some very strange guests. One individual refers me, and I won't say too much about him right now, but if you have a real employment case, if you want to sue your employer, that's kind of what I do. I actually do have a job. I run the Employment Lawyers Group, and I'd like to help you if you're sitting there and you're at home and you're really stressed out because you've been fired from your job and all you can think about is that you've been fired and your identity is taken away and you've got bills to pay. I want to hear from you during normal business hours at 877-525-0700. We deal with termination cases. We deal with unpaid wage cases, obviously class actions. That's what I do a lot of, 877-525-0700. We also deal with sexual harassment and discrimination cases at work, 877-525-0700 from my office. We're talking to a lady whose name is Cynophilist, which I think means something about dogs. You might want to look that up on the break, Cynophilist, because she has a weird job in the gig economy. We'll find out more about it when we come back. Talk Radio 790 KABC.
I fired back, but by and large...
Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and I'm Karl Gerber. I have a very interesting guest in studio tonight from the gig economy, and she doesn't communicate well, whether we're on a Samsung Galaxy Note or some other cell plan. She seems to mostly respond to animal noises. What were you saying before we broke?
That somebody has to keep the person company who's living in your house, who isn't a dog but dresses like a dog.
Seriously, why go to the trouble? I mean, I'd be supporting two mentally insane people who dressed like dogs and acted like dogs if I had a fake dog living in my house.
Then pretend you have a dog.
If you'd like.
Well, do you think your dog would rather be around some house sitter or another dog?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Don't a lot of dogs fight and get territorial?
Oh, Mr. Gerber, that is so parochial.
I'm not even Catholic.
But we're pretending you have a dog.
Well, Jews have dogs, too. I mean, my parents have a dog. Does Bernie Sanders have a dog?
I don't know. But I do know Elizabeth Warren does.
Well, if Bernie Sanders doesn't have a dog, he isn't gonna win. Hell, 62% of all American homes have a dog, and that's up from 56% last year.
Well, then, Mr. Gerber, this is exactly why you really should consider getting in on the IPO for the company I'm gigging for.
I need to know more before I get involved, but I'm not so sure about gig employers. I'm not interested in furthering poverty and employee exploitation one Uber ride at a time.
Well, here's how it works. Hear me out. Most people think they need a dog sitter or a cat sitter or even a gerbil sitter. What they really need is something their pet will relate to. Will a gerbil relate to some Amazon woman like me, 5'2" and 91 pounds, sitting on the couch, talking all sweet and nice to the gerbil? No. The gerbil wants to see another gerbil.
How big are most gerbils?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe Richard Gere knows the answer.
Come on, that's so old I can't even believe somebody your age heard it.
Listen, do you have a gerbil or gerbils?
Well, we do have a hamster.
Then you need AI services.
Doesn't AI stand for artificial intelligence?
Animal impersonators.
Oh, I'm not sure I need animal impersonator services. I've got enough of an ant problem at home.
Ants, nobody has asked me to keep an ant company, but that day will come.
Well, I'm confused. Are you a pet sitter or something else?
Something else.
Do you work like little kids' birthday parties?
No, I could.
Well, you work for animal impersonators, right?
I don't work there per se. I'm just a contracted animal impersonator, but I do not cheat around with other companies.
Well, this isn't like a contracted serial killer, is it?
No. Putting on whiskers and cuddling up to a cute feline with a black and white face is not serial killing with almond milk.
Oh, right. I do see your point.
I knew you'd come around. Does your hamster need company?
My son's hamster is nocturnal. That's one of the problems. My son doesn't want to wake him up during the day and play with him.
Well, hopefully somebody is around in the middle of the night when the hamster's up.
Not so much. Sometimes I hear weird noises in the room in front of my bedroom, and not the part with the law books. The hamster he's on his wheel, or he's drinking Kool-Aid, or doing those hamster things.
No, I can do hamster things.
Which ones?
I've got a pretty good bite. You want to hear it?
I just don't know if our non-directional microphones in here would do justice to the clickety-clang of your hamster bite.
Oh, no, Mr. Gerber. A hamster's bite is not like an old engine rattling way.
Well, this whole conversation about hamster bites, bug bites, and just plain biting is, in general, it's very interesting. Not on a periodontal sense, but this is a show about employment law. One of the issues with the gig economy is the workers may be earning less than minimum wage, so I'd like to know how much you're paid.
Oh. Well, I get the standard $1 unlocking fee, and then I get 25 cents every minute before AI takes 70% of that.
Well, us wage and hour lawyers are pretty fast with multiplication. 25 cents times 60 minutes in an hour. It's $15 an hour, which is more than minimum wage. But if you only get 30%, that's $4.50 an hour.
Yeah, but I get the whole unlocking fee.
That's $1.
I know, but I could go to one home in, say, Venice and be a dog, and then, say, 10 minutes later, go to another home in Mar Vista and keep a chick company. But, I'd have to change and do my makeup, but...
Miss, even if you got, like, the $1 unlocking fee in an hour, you'd still only make $10.50, but, isn't there a travel time between gigs?
Well, sometimes I start out in El Segundo and I end up in Palm Springs. But if I'm a horse, I am pretty fast. If I'm a mouse, I scurry.
So in other words, you travel the animal impersonating circuit.
Yeah, they're all over. Even if I don't go.
Are there expenses involved in these gigs? You mentioned costumes and makeup.
Well, yeah. Sometimes a costume doesn't last very long because I do not shy away from rough play. I work with a lot of puppies.
Yeah, this is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm talking to some woman in the gig economy who, I think she impersonates animals, and she's got to slow down because this is so weird. I don't think anyone has heard anything like this, but from what I'm hearing, you're being exploited. You aren't even earning minimum wage, and you're doing some very hard work. The rough play, maybe a hostile dog, a biting parakeet.
Mr. Gerber, listen. I would happily dress up like a Cocker Spaniel and cozy up to another Cocker Spaniel all day, even if I wasn't being paid. Do you think I'm impersonating animals for the money?
Well, I didn't think you were doing it for the fame.
Look, sir, not everybody can do what I do.
Oh, I'd have to agree.
Yeah, a lot of turtles. I mean, people try to be turtles. They just don't cut it.
Well, that raises an interesting question. What type of not cats and not birds, etc., get into this whole animal impersonating racket?
It's not a racket, sir. It's perfectly good gig for a lot of people who don't have a regular place to crash.
Well, is this like house sitting?
I hardly think animal impersonators would keep on. Animal impersonator who was being neglectful of the pet they were supposed to keep company. I'm just incensed.
Well, I'm not trying to incense you. Then I suppose you're in favor of being an independent contractor.
Well, what is that?
Well, the whole point of the show, well, at least putting you on, was you're supposed to be a fine example, well, maybe a fine specimen in your case, as somebody in the gig economy who is misclassified as an independent contractor.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the impersonators are pretty independent, and they don't want to put down any roots. I wouldn't say they're homeless. I mean, more like couch surfers. I mean, they're just happy to have a place where they can use a clean bathroom, and frankly, I don't blame them.
This is, I don't think I'd want these animal impersonators in my house. Now, why would they want to use a clean bathroom? I mean, this, raises a question. Why would they want to use a clean bathroom if they're impersonating a dog? Isn't that creating a slightly unfair bar for the real dog? Very few dogs, I know some are, but very few dogs are capable of flushing a toilet, let alone using one.
Yeah, you're right. I never thought about that.
But I gotta ask this: you're not doing that business like a dog does? Does it while you're impersonating Fido's BFF?
We can't talk about that.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
I said no, sir.
Oh, just when we get to the part where I think the listeners would like to know the answer, we got these guests that just they won't tell us. She's an animal impersonator. She dresses up like an animal. She gets these assignments. In this gig job of hers, she can make a whole $4.50. She doesn't, well, I don't know. She might take those ride-sharing services. It wasn't clear, but she can't ride a scooter because of the costume. And if there's a tail, you can't be on a scooter. So I don't even know how this woman gets to her gig jobs. Yeah, this is strange, but I got to tell you something. Most employment cases are strange. If they weren't strange, they wouldn't be a good story. I only take cases if they're a good story because that's what they're about. You got to have a reason for people believing in the case. So if you have a real employment case, I'm a real workplace lawyer. I can be reached at 877-525-0700. I've got offices all over Southern California. We closed escrow a couple weeks ago on an office condo in Bakersfield. Got one office in downtown LA and ever in Sherman Oaks, some in the South Bay, Tustin, Riverside, you name it. Wherever there are workers in California, we have an office. Give us a call at 877-525-0700 for the original labor lawyers. 877-525-0700, representing employees for a long time. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Nothing better than holding them close and having them whole. We all know it's good for the soul.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a consistent force in fighting for the rights of California employees. They've represented thousands of employees in cases in which they've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, discriminated against at work, or owed wages individually or as a group such as a class action. The Employment Lawyers Group has maintained a high win rate and a serious record before the California courts. Please call 877-525-0700 for an experienced work lawyer. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, research the firm at worklawyerca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. If you hire the Employment Lawyers Group, your legal problem becomes theirs to solve.
But by and large, you bought yourself a lawsuit for
Talk Radio 790 KBC. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and I have a feeling that our guest tonight has impersonated a dolphin because she's an animal impersonator in the gig economy. At least those gig economy jobs are going to be kind of weird. So, Miss Xenophilist, I just am not sure a parrot would really relate to you as a parrot. Even if you're all dressed up like a parrot. I mean, you're so much bigger. You must look like a larger predator.
Well, I am not in the predatory loan business.
Well, if you're lucky to make $4.50 an hour and you're incurring all these Uber and Lyft rides because you don't have a car and you can't use a rented scooter because you're in a costume and your tail might get caught in the back wheel and you've got makeup and costume fees, how are you supporting yourself if you aren't one of those, well, animal impersonators who doesn't want to put down roots?
My mother?
It's hard to tell, and I'm so old, I think a woman who's 50 is useful, but I am sort of thinking you're old enough where your mother probably wants you off the household expenses.
Oh, do you want to know how old I am?
Yes.
Okay, dog years or cat years?
Let's keep it a mystery and do it in rabbit years, because I'm not really sure how long a rabbit lives.
Have you ever worn a zebra suit?
Nope, not even a zoot suit.
Listen, this has been a great conversation, but I really have to go to keep a peacock company right now.
Oh, I'd love to see the getup you use when you're hanging out, chilling out with the peacocks.
Well, it's different if there's more than one.
Oh, I'd be willing to see your outfit for blending in with the cocks if there's one or two at once.
Oh, well, actually, I'm pretty sure I've got a picture on my phone. Hold on. Ooh, see?
What's this? What are you supposed to be?
It's not what I am supposed to be. It is what I am.
Well, it's pretty clear you're dressed up like a sunflower in this picture.
Oh, I made a mistake. I'm showing you how I look when I'm with a German Shepherd. Hold on.
What? Are you supposed to be something the German Shepherd would like to see in nature, or are you supposed to be a dog in this picture?
It's not what I am supposed to be in the picture. It's what I am.
Right. You're a sunflower in the picture you're showing me.
No, I am not.
Oh, look. There are a bunch of sunflower leaf things around your face. I love the orangest yellow color, very seasonal. And then, oh, well, there's sunflower seeds in the middle. It's a happy costume you're wearing.
No, I am not a sunflower. I am in my German Shepherd outfit.
Miss, there's no way you look like a German Shepherd in that picture.
Do you want to bet?
No.
I've got more pictures. They're all on my profile page if you want to see.
What kind of a profile page do you have?
Match.com.
Oh, I hate to think about the kind of dates you get with those profile pictures.
Oh, no, I've got more pictures.
I'd like to see more. Do you have one where you look more like a dog?
Here's a very dog-like picture of me.
I've never seen a green dog. This picture, even if some idiot dyes a dog for St. Patrick's Day, and I hope they don't do that, the dog isn't a dark green color. I'm going to come out and say it. You're dressed up like a pickle.
Let me see that.
Well, here's your phone back. You really don't look a thing like a dog in that picture. I think it's a good pickle costume, though. Pretty funny. Makes me want to laugh.
I don't know. I swore I looked like a French poodle. Strawberry dyed fell, about 2 foot tall, on a 40-foot leash. Quiche Lorraine!
Quiche Lorraine? I guess that explains the pink bonnet and sunglasses on what otherwise looks like a pickle.
Mr. Gerber, may I ask you a personal question?
No.
Do you ever wear designer jeans with appliques?
Simplest. I know you think you're a sweet, sweet puppy, but to me, you're a pickle in that picture.
Huh?
Well, here's the fundamental issue. Did you get that little reference? That was a B-52 song. Here's the fundamental issue. You might not be an employee if you go around providing the same kind of services you provide to animal impersonators, to other... Well, why, that's the problem. I don't think there's a competitor to animal impersonators.
See, now that's weird. Because I never got why there isn't, especially when AI's valuation is at $5.14 billion.
Odd. I've heard that funding level before somewhere. Wait, I have to do a sponsorship plug. This program is made possible by a generous grant from the Helms Foundation's $5.14 billion in funding and 14 inches of endowmenting, people. He's who refers me my guests.
Well, there is one reason why I sort of, well, maybe, quite possibly, no, just sort of wish I were an employee at AI.
What? Maybe they'd have a wardrobe department and you wouldn't be sent onto jobs dressed like a pickle?
No, that's not it.
Then what could the reason possibly be?
Well, there was this one time where I was on a play date with a Great Dane. Oh, Great doesn't even begin to do him any justice. Standing up, he went up to about my neck, and his name was Horsey. Oh, he was so cute. We had been running around on all fours in the backyard for hours. It was one of the best times of my life.
Can I stop you and ask what the best time of your life was?
No, 'cause I'm telling a story right now. So we went back to Horsey's bed, and it was just, a twin mattress on the floor, and Horsey laid down. He fell asleep. And when I woke up, he rolled on over onto my tummy. And, well, he crushed a rib in the process. I can hardly blame him, poor little Horsey. He was the sweetest, most loving 4-foot-tall Great Dane I had ever had a play date with.
And thus, who paid these medical bills being that you weren't an employee?
Yeah, I know. Well, my mom said workers' compensation and disability benefits through the unemployment board if I were an employee.
AI's valuation is going to have some problems because their entire business model is based upon paying employees less than minimum wage. And, this new AB5 thing isn't going to be allowing that.
But I am a fine artist.
Well, there's an exception in the new law for fine artists, but they're visual artists. But we're hit with the fact that you don't have a separate business location where you do this stuff. The employer sets the rates, and you're the one providing the general services to the employer who charges customers. I'm also assuming AI tells you when you have to show up for a play date.
Yes, and thank you for using the right terminology. Appreciate that. Yes, I get a text if I am within range. And that's a 200-mile range if I accept. I'm going to have a lot of fun.
Do you eat dog food?
Sometimes.
I suspected I wasn't the only one dying to know.
Well, if I could set my own hours, maybe I'd have time to eat dried rice and vegetables on my own. But listen, being a dog burns a lot of calories.
And thus, a can of dog food looks and even smells appetizing.
Mr. Gerber. It isn't like that at all. They've got fat-free organic steak on the bone at a lot of my playdates.
To be honest, how did you hear about this show?
Remus Holmes?
My God, I thought now that this show was on a different time, I'd have a different type of guests, not millennials who have playdates with 4-foot-tall dogs while they're wearing pickle costumes.
Well, Remus Holmes said all guests on the show are furnished courtesy of the Helms Foundation, and that isn't changing.
I'm cursed. The listeners are cursed. If you think Cinephilist is strange, I can't say she's the strangest one I've had on this show. There's a regularly appearing imposter, a phone sex operator, a mother who stayed underneath her son's bed for safety reasons when the son had his first time. We've even had the Easter Bunny and a human sandwich.
See, I'd imagine those kind of guests have very unique employment problems.
To say the least. All right, listeners, we may be on next week at 7 o'clock on Sunday if we're not here at this time. Also, go to the Karl Gerber with the K channel on YouTube or the KBC website. We teach about employment law while keeping it fun and really weird because you're not going to forget the example you heard tonight on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KBC. Have a wonderful week of workplace abuse.
This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.